Yeah, so we've talked about you playing in the army band, and then from there going and moving up to Canada and kind of getting your start up there with your jazz career.
Right. First band with Paul Schaefer, Mike Malone, and Dave Decker, and then started to expand from there. Right, and during that same time, I included Lenny Bro and Sonny Greenwich would come and sit in with my band, and I would be sitting in with his band, and I sat in for Lenny. Not a comparable guitar player, but somebody with all the heart, blood, and guts to get up there and play, period. You know, say, no, play what I play. Right, so, as you were saying?
Yeah, so it sounds like you hooked up and made some connections there, and that, helped you to develop post-Army band before. So this was pre going down back to New York City and working with, Pharaoh and a lot of those guys.
Yeah, you mean the itinerary or the stages of my playing. Yeah, it began in the Army band, right, where, I call it like my jewel card, because everything had to be perfect or else, right? And then from there, it was going up to Toronto and establishing myself as part of the scene up there. And so I met a lot of great players, Jim Heineman, Glenn McDonald, like at the very beginning of what I was doing. And these are all the great players, I guess you might say the founders of jazz up there for the most part. These cats are very, very generous, spent a lot of time with them, they're very gracious, all fine players, they know jazz. So there was quite an extensive list of players that I went through then. I've mentioned some names to you. You want to read back some names?
Yeah,
if you have a list, some of the names, I'll touch upon them. I'm honoring them. They're all great players. I don't want to go down without having honored some of these people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about Canadian cats, you mentioned Clayton Johnson.
Clayton Johnson's like a dear brother of mine. I don't even know if he's alive anymore. Fine player. Fine player, man. Yeah, one of the best players up there. Groovy cat. He's the drummer on that. What was it we called it? For the Lenny Bro session. Clayton Johnson was on there with Mike Malone and a few other players. I think Jim Heineman was on there, but we didn't have a clip of that to share because that I was even shocked to find that tape was a cassette tape. And that I had, and it was damaged, and one of the microphones wasn't working, which is probably where some of the other players who we played with were mics. And I got the drum and guitar section of the mic. So, but yeah, Michel Donato was on that. A fantastic player, man, crazy player. I'm glad we can mention his names. These are some of the best players in the world that I made contact with. Comments.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So to keep going down the list, David Decker.
David Decker was part of the first band, right, that we had formed between me and Paul. Paul was really hot to play, right, and he was a sociology major, and he just wanted to play, man. He knew that I was playing, and he said he wanted to learn. So he saw me on Yorkville Street, and it all began there. And I think his admission of his beginnings corroborates what I'm saying as far as that goes. Yeah, so we had Dave Decker and then Mike Malone playing trumpet. And I was very close to his sister, Erin Malone, who was also another great musician and friend. Very supportive people at the time. Right, and so there are a few there.
You got Claude Ranger.
Claude Ranger, a great drummer who I had the privilege to play with, one of the top people. I believe it's from Montreal. Right, Franklin Kiermaier, I believe, is also from Montreal. Two great players, right, from that time, and so one of the legends. A sweet cat, man. He loved the way I played. We like drummer to drummer, man. So I didn't have a guitar concept really. Of course, I heard Greenwich, I heard Lenny, and Ed Bickert, and Ed Bickert seemed to be more in the genre of Jim Hall, who I met and urinated with, in Montreal once, because I went to a gig and sat in with him and Terry Clark and Don Thompson. I happened to be there with John Tank, who we were touring with John Tank, And so I went to the bathroom, and there's Jim. But I was playing bells with the band and creating a kind of a mayhem with my percussion, and revved the band up as it usually happens when supporting forces come in. And so anyway, I could keep going.
Yeah, and there's Jim Norman.
Jim Norman, yes. Mm-hmm. Jim Norman was interesting. He was a drummer, a Torontonian drummer. I don't know where he was from exactly, but he was another instrumental cat in the very beginning. Because he talked about to me was Pharaoh. He was obviously a Pharaoh fan. Pharaoh, the devotee of Pharaoh's music. He said, "No, you got to hear this. You got to play with Pharaoh." I said, that was way out of my galaxy. But it turned out he was right. And also Greenwich told me. He said the only man that he knew, period, who could help Pharaoh, who needed help, he says was you, Tisziji. You're the only guy who can do it. He said, me, Sonny? He said, I'm not strong enough to deal with Pharaoh. Right? He says, you're the one who's strong enough to deal with that. He was correct about that. Next.
Bobby McLaren.
Bobby McLaren was a very beautiful person, drummer, who would come out to play. Very sweet, good vibes, loved playing. Apparently, he loved the out stuff, and that's why we were able to play as much as we did for our own pleasure, and for public concerts. We did many of those. But he was a great player, man, a great person, right? Easy to play with, loved the out stuff, and I always moved and resonated well with those out lovers, because there wasn't that much up there, as Bernie said, right, in that interview that you put up on the web. Mm-hmm. Bernie said it wasn't much of what was going on there compared to what I was doing, right, which is very out, and we hope, very, very musical for the people that enjoyed that side of this kind of music. There was musicality in what I was playing, virtuosity and boldness and unconsciousness as well, working with the unconscious. Next.
And there's, I think, do we mention Terry Clark?
Terry Clark, yeah. I wasn't sure if he was an American or not. I thought, he was a great player wherever he came from. He may have come from Vancouver, but he was a great player, man. Always great to play with him. Always up, strong, pushing, driving. Appreciated him. And I knew Don Thompson could play drums too, right? Don Thompson, I played with Don. It's good to have him on piano. It was great. He played. He was Sonny Greenwich's pianist and accompanist. No problems there, man. Serious players, man. They're serious players. The best.
Greg Pilo.
Greg Pilo also, yeah. Our paths crossed. I knew his mom, Marnie, and she told me to watch out for him. And I said, I'll keep an eye on him, but not much I can do to turn him to what I do. But yeah, kept an eye on him, and we did play. We got together. We had a good time. It's always fun. Psychically correct, spiritual. From my vantage point, he was very sympathetic to what I was doing. He liked the art stuff, so he was pretty ambitious, and adventuresome spirit, very game, ready to go, no BS. I enjoyed his company. A tough guy, but lovable in any case.
Greg Bandy.
Greg Bandy, one of Pharaoh's buddies, and Groove, man, the cat. Happy-go-lucky guy was just out there. He's one of the jazz players, so he would come in to play, but who knows what he was doing otherwise. But he was fun. He was great. Ladies' man, no doubt. Many of the jazz cats are there for the ladies, as well as for the audience and the music. So enjoyed him. But did a record with him, I believe, with Pharaoh. I believe so, maybe. I'm not sure which one that was. I believe he was on that. I'm not sure. Yeah. What was that called? Harvest, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure who was playing drums there, but I put it, let's say, a shot for Greg.
Sure.
Yeah, cool cat.
Definitely.
Serious drumming. Right.
Maybe one more that maybe we don't hear very often is Toby Williams.
Toby was from...
that was
from Chicago.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but we had fun with him too, man. Another fine drummer, man. He's got adventurous, spirits. They want to go deeper and go to their inner being. See, be taken out. See? And so this is what the music is for. Not everybody's free enough of their own neuroses to step out of the casket of self and play beyond themselves, and that's important. See? Elvin, you know, it took a while, I think, for him to evolve to that place, and it's good that he and Rashid did a record. I think it was called Meditations, where they may have had their first collaboration rather than a collision. They had the first collaboration, and because, you know, the old school is one drum at a time. We have to have a bigger mind than that, because, you know, we're not just one drummer, we're all drummers. We're all drums.